Hi, I'm Susan. I'm from Worldpeacefull, and I've had another inspiration tonight, one after the other. Never stops for me. I'm going to read you some poetry I've written that's very interesting, but before I do, I'm going to introduce you to investigating Camelot. I want to read out a blog I've written. It's called Finding Camelot in Realising the Roundtable of Universal Love. So I'll read a little bit about Camelot and King Arthur, and then I'll move to the poem. The poetry is very important. This is why I'm publishing a lot of my poetry now, because deep insights come through heart-based intelligence. We can analyse and analyse with the mind, but as Einstein has very wisely seen, it is actually the servant to the heart. The heart has to become the centerpiece if we wish to recalibrate our world into a more harmonic accord between all people, rather than a discord based on belief systems. We have to start to unite in ways based on universal values. So I'll read you my blog. It was published 25th of March 2012. I start by saying, it has been interesting. I wrote a poem tonight and the word Camelot popped up. I then saw a DVD on King Arthur and the metaphors were clear to me. Truth is often hidden in metaphor. It is like a surrealist painting when suddenly you see an image within an image. That is what I love about poetry. It takes you on a journey. You could never pre-plan what you write. The feeling just paints it. The Arthurship is not mine. I'd like to add in here that I felt to mention the Magna Carta. The King Arthur legend was dated around 6th century, whereas Magna Carta was signed in 1297, 13th century. It was called the Great Charter of the Liberties of England and the Liberties of the Forest. This could be a metaphor for liberty, freedom, today, or human rights and freedoms of nature, rights of Mother Earth. The interesting aspect of the Magna Carta is that the barons rebelled against the king, as his power was not contained by law. They sought to be free men. This is why tyrants always fall. That's actually what Gandhi said. Always they fall. History has shown this. It is the inequality which is untruth that undermines the king's power or the legitimacy of power. Equality is a universal law and a real power. In modern times, the king could be the elite, business leaders, presidents, or others imbued with some form of power, both perceived legitimate and illegitimate. So we could be talking about Illuminati, various people making decisions in the background that we can't see. That's what I'm saying about illegitimate. They have great influence. The signing of the Magna Carta ushered in the idea of limiting the monarch's power, law, and rebalancing power, which was a forerunner for human rights, indeed a Bill of Rights in the United States, and democracy. And of course, the principles beneath these are noble ideas. The challenge for humanity is to deeply embed and integrate these noble ideas in our actual lives and in all our actions. This is part of the recalibration as well. What was interesting about King Arthur's court was that the round table was a symbol of equality, and it reduced quarrels as the knights sat as equals. This, I feel, has always been the tension. We see it played out in business, that is management and employees, governance and citizens, hierarchy and families, and across virtually every aspect of life there are power relations where people strive to regain a sense of equality. Equality is natural when diversity is seen for what it is. Conflict resolution seeks to rebalance power by enabling people to air their differences and really listen and resolve conflict. The round table would be a metaphor for that approach. Roundtable is a term used today to depict conferences and discussions, and again reinforce the notion of equality or a level playing field. But this has to be again lived out as an integrated reality. Power as it is used today promotes a sense of separation from the whole. Power over others is legitimised through roles or positions in jobs, through governance structures in the home, and it depends or deepens the sense of superiority or inferiority, which is often at the root of many conflicts. Superiority sees the other as somehow weaker or unworthy, and is often equated with survival of the fittest. Yet in truth it is a distortion of the true state of human affairs, which is a solid state when values are central and conflict resolution is used to restore equality. That is always true. King Arthur saw his mission as the unity of men, and I would put in brackets obviously, and women, but in this time period men were in dominance. But we're really seeking in this current situation, this current time, is equality as an intrinsic value that unites all people. It has nothing to do with gender, in truth. So he saw his mission as the unity, and this is realised when the notion we are one people on one planet is lived as a truth. Equality is at the core of this understanding. This is what the knights were searching for. They thought it was a physical grail of great wealth, but like the philosopher's stone, it is an alchemical symbol of self-awareness and transformation. It is the supernatural power. When a person awakens to oneness, that is when the Holy Grail is realised. The power, therefore, is within the pure heart that finds inner unity, and this naturally creates peace on earth. As above, so below, as they say. It is the birthright of humanity. The struggle is over. Indeed, the wars are over. So this poem I'm about to read to you is the realisation of Camelot in the future. And just before I read it, I just want to say that what I said at the beginning of the blog here was that I noticed synchronicities with a DVD on King Arthur. And the word Camelot came into my mind. I don't ignore when I get repeated thoughts coming to me. When I see synchronicities happening, this is a reflection of the oneness that I'm speaking about. I'm not just saying we look at the world and see it as one in an idealistic, romanticized vision. I'm actually talking about true oneness, which is we are literally one with all things. It's just that we're in what they call a separated state of consciousness, where I see myself and I see the other. But as people start to become still and they start to focus on who they really are, the veil of this type of reality will fall, because the true state of nature, the true state of the cosmos, reflects a oneness. And at this point, it's very hard for people to see that because they really believe the material world they live in is real. But we are coming into new understandings to understand that it's not real. And certainly Einstein was a great orator who communicated that we live in illusion and that it's all energy. And of course, thought, when focused, manifests. We know that because as we focus on something and we keep at it, eventually we realize it. All energy is thermodynamic. Energy transfers. It never dissipates. Einstein was extremely wise. So I'll read you my poem, and may you gain great insights, as I did as I wrote it. Finding Camelot is realising the round table of universal love. There is a round table that is not square, for it circles the square. It is a stone circle with no head, no tail, for it is not there by chance. For in a circle one can romance the philosopher's stone. For all who sit around the table are equals. All quarrelling has ceased. Conflict resolution is the solution, as one has seized the moment. She looks at the world map from the tabletop of her mountain to find it is no longer divided. For the capstone has been put in the place of real protection. The warriors are women and men. Their spirit commands not to fight another, but to realize the enemy seen is within. To understand that slaying of the dragons are discovered in guilt, jealousy, lust, greed, corruption, deceit, and rage. As these are the dark caves, blind caverns, where the light is in search of nights, shields are the rites of passage, as mirrors into which the brave must look. To see the world book is a legend. At its core is metaphor, for the real wars are to honour thyself and be true. Excalibur is the sword of truth that only the legitimate and pure can wield, for truth is the laser that pierces falsehood. It is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, as the lady in the lake symbolises emotions. Truth is held in the reflection of emotions, as life is reflective when sincere. That returns arms, A-R-M-S, for alms, A-L-M-S, with tears. That returns arms for alms with tears. Armour, protection. For armour, vulnerability. So armour, A-R-M-O-U-R, protection. For armour, A-R-M-O-U-R, vulnerability. Armour, love. Appears in the moment of forgiveness. The Holy Grail is the journey of life, the realisation of the self. To drink from the fountain of youth, an elixir of endless life, as the chalice is an eternal container of light, for those who seek in earnest the kite, will lead without being led, flying high above illusions and tests, for they are deemed genuine in their quest. For the rest of their lives they live in the kingdom, to find they never left home. For home was always where the heart is, and this is the rock upon which Excalibur is drawn, in the heat of all inner battles. The pure king is honour, the brave knight is fearless, the metaphoric sword is truth, opening the heart is love. The magic is supernatural powers. Life is in the hands of the gods, for the gods must be crazy to create both evil and good. Yet that is the cosmic drama that plays out over centuries. For many have forgotten the plot at Camelot, as weapons of mass destruction became the distraction from peacemaking, which was always the highest chivalry, as this was the just war referred to in theory, and mercy was granted in every request, and allegiance sworn on all sides of truth with justice. The quest of the court jester was to remind the king he had no clothes, for he is naked before truth. He is homeless without a roof, for the roof of ancient forests provides cover in climates of change. For it is only the truth that sets all free to see the golden age of peace as prosperity. And this is the sanity that is renewable. As the drawbridge comes down, the moat is no longer remote viewing, as all the walls on the street tumble down. Out of the rubble, the phoenix rises, realizing the resiliency of humility as the meek inherit the earth. And this is the dirt made of gold. All are welcome at the renewable round table of a world union, the armor of universal citizenship, the amour of this universal citizenship, that means love, remembers the charter of universal love. For this is the dove that is waiting to land when all understand the Holy Grail is realized as the noble peace prize carved from the rock of new ages. So that's my poem. And what's really interesting was when I read out this blog, I actually don't read the blog before I record it on this video. And so my preamble actually preempted what I said in the beginning. And what I see again is that's the oneness. I just am connecting to something. I get inspired. The inspiration is kind of like the intuition. Even Einstein talks about the intuition as very, very important. We mustn't ignore what our inner feeling is telling us, because the highest knowledge actually speaks from this space. We are moving into a space now of a newer horizon, and previous knowledge may not be able to help us to view a new future. But when we tap into our inner awareness, our intuition, our values, our sense of nobility and equality, we will realize this round table of universal love. And everybody has a seat at this table. This table has been set for everyone. Because no one is excluded from a renewable earth. It will be an inclusive society where all are honoured for who they really are. And that's my feeling of the truth that sets you free. So with great joy and great peace and great love, I leave you with the round table of universal love that was inspired by King Arthur and Camelot, knowledge of which is still alive today. Take care, have fun, live in equality with each other. Bye.